Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of the Herald of Purity wheel build. I made it to level 91 so far, reached endgame, read all your comments, and many of those made it into the video, so let's dive back in. And don't forget to subscribe and like if you want to follow along. I started by fixing some resistances, using an energy shield ring. I die to a merc and get Wicked Ward after leveling up. This keystone is less energy shield recharge, but after it has started, it will keep going even if you take damage for 4 seconds. I die again to another merc. I find a new staff with +1 lightning, 5 socket it, 4 link it, and this is very usable. I put Flash Offering in the extra socket. I reach level 70, kill a merc for a change, but immediately die again to the map boss. I was a little bit afraid this would happen in the last episode, but I also feel that with more energy shield it's gonna be more manageable, and so I invest a bit in energy shield. I try out Bone Offering instead of Flash Offering for a while, thinking that block chance might make me improve some defenses, and I die again. This time to being frozen on top of 63 ice explosion. It's this is clearly an amazing character, everyone. It's fine. I get a new ring for even more resist and craft minion movement speed on it, and I then die, of course. Here is the beginning of a decent energy shield helmet, but it refuses to link. New passive points are invested into energy shield clusters. I get a good bone ring from a merc with good minion resistances. A viewer, Strike, commented that minion stats were a bit messed up and underwhelming, and after checking my own path of building, I saw what he meant. So, getting those minions res capped is a first priority here. I complete that energy shield cluster for faster recharge and recovery rate. I realize half my flasks are still white, so I slam some basic currency on them. I equip a better resistance ring with some energy shield over there. I do another link attempt, but fail. Third one is the charm though. It happened, and after crafting some res, this helm provides 230 energy shield for a total of 3.8k energy shield. I started the episode with 3k, so that is progress. There's more progress with these gloves, and after some coloring and swapping gems, it's another 95 energy shield. And here's the next piece from gambling, a spider silk rope, which is a small upgrade. I hire a kineticist, do a bit of harvest, quality that chests, gloves and boots, and shortly after I find another chest piece with more energy shield, and after linking and coloring it is another upgrade, 400 energy shield without much quality. I get a new staff that I gambled and decide to try a trigger craft on it, plus a 4 link. I think the monsters might be bullying and killing me because of my crappy outfit, so I equip some MTX. I also take the mummy zombies, as I happen to have that. And as you can see in this clip in the next map, it absolutely pays off. I kill the 8th boss, get a Pantheon upgrade, get jumped on by enemies and die. I equip a new belt, get a Sunfire circlet with good rolls, benchcraft ES on it, and that's a decent upgrade once more. From Ritual I get a Primal Thunderlord who applies lightning exposure. I add this guy to my Spectre army, which further consists of 2 Carnage Chieftains. I anoint my amulet and get Decay Ward for now, as it is a cheap anoint and it should help my minions survive a bit. I get yet again a heavy belt upgrade, use an implicit, craft some armor and energy shield on it, that's pretty okay. I missed a few upgrades, including a 5-link chest and a weapon because nVidia Shadowplay was recording my second monitor, which is just amazing. Here's a glimpse though, so you can see I have 6,900 energy shield at this point. I spec my second Atlas tree into Ritual and Blight because I need some black oils. Here is one for starters. I get a Perkwell's Toe from a merc, that's great for damage. Here you see the Atlas I'm running. Blight is pretty decent actually, that's a fun loot explosion. I reach level 88 and I get some strength and dex on the tree. I decide to make Absolution a 5-link and don't really focus on damage of zombies anymore. I think in time the zombies may disappear entirely from the build. I find a Forest Warrior from Ritual, that means permanent onslaught. Time to add him to the Spectre pack. I have made my way to this energy shield cluster, the more the better. I find Egan, and by the way go check out the latest lore video on Egan and Zana from Kit and Kat Noodle. It's an amazing piece of work. I reach level 90, take a mana reservation and aura effect cluster, find a new Carnage Heart, use a Blessed Orb for more attributes, and I anoint Grave Pact. It's time to get some Voidstones, which is quite a smooth journey. First is the Eater of Worlds, and you can tell the minions have no issues surviving his big AoE attacks. They're all resistance capped, have a ton of regeneration and leech, so it's not an issue at all. I'm tanky enough to tank the beam for a little bit during the puzzle game, and he goes down in less than 3 minutes, which is not bad at all. Then the Searing Exarch, a bit more tricky this fight. His normal phase isn't an issue at all, but the rolling balls can be tricky with minions. They move unpredictably from time to time, triggering balls right in my face. And we can't all appreciate these things, balls in faces, especially when they hurt and are on fire. Apart from that though, pretty smooth fight. Single target DPS with all these minions is completely fine, and just like the other pinnacle bosses, he dies in under 3 minutes. That means I managed to get 2 Voidstones, and that is also the main achievement in this video and what the build managed to do so far. However, I got a bit more to show you. As you all were so kind to list a bunch of suggestions and leave many cute comments in general, I thought I would highlight a few things. For example, a very elaborate comment from Strike, highlighting a few things. First, minion accuracy and resistances. I briefly touched on this. Before reaching maps, I didn't invest points into that at all, but after reading his comment and checking my own path of building for the minion stats, I realized I had to get them resistance capped and hit capped. I've taken minion accuracy nodes, the precision aura, and as you just saw, Grave Pact Anoint. I also have taken more minion res, in particular chaos res. Second, offerings. I tried both bone and flesh offering, but because I'm so starved for sockets and didn't see that many benefits, I stopped using them altogether. This worked better for Essence Glutton too, which requires corpses around you to be relevant, so if I don't blow up all these corpses, they are around. As a result, I specced out of Mistress of Sacrifice and into Essence Glutton. You can see some of the footage over here. These are the Essence Glutton stacks in the UI, with a maximum of 10. This covers all your mana regen, and 2% energy shield regen isn't too bad either. Third, people suggested using the minion leech from either the Baron or the Ascendancy and combine that with Ghost Reaver, so this life leech is in fact converted to energy shield leech. The ascendancy required to pull this off is Bone Barrier, so I specced out of Essence Glutton that I just got into, and now I am taking Bone Barrier. The mana issues that this creates I'm solving with an Enduring Mana Flask, which also provides bleeding immunity. Energy shield regen isn't necessary anymore really, and to be able to do this and get all those points, I dropped the energy shield cluster in the south of the tree, and I dropped the Wicked Ward, which is now useless. I also took the energy shield leech nodes for a 5% instant leech as the mastery, and the results you can see in this map. As long as my minions are attacking, I am leeching a ton of energy shield, and this feels like a very solid recovery. Then there were a good number of people suggesting Dominating Blow instead of Absolution. So I am taking these comments seriously and conducted some testing with the limited resources I have, as this is a fresh SSF character. I looked at the Dancing Dervish as a weapon to use as someone suggested, but I don't have the attributes and coloring. This will be a mess. It is a fun idea, however, I didn't really go further into it. What I did do was recolor a bunch of gear, and I got the gems for Dominating Blow, and I did a test run in a tier 1 map also to level up the gems a bit. And what I quite like about it is that you are in the middle of the pack surrounded by your minions and you're creating a bunch of new ones. It seems to work quite well with Leech too. Another advantage is that the minions are pure physical damage as opposed to Absolution, which is 50% lightning. However, Herald of Purity is a spell, Dominating Blow an attack, and I'm not hit capped clearly. I could path all the way down to a Resolute technique, but that stretches out the tree quite a bit. Any spell damage that I'm scaling currently won't work with the attacks and vice versa, so there is some anti-synergy there. And I noticed that by using Dominating Blow, it is much harder to proc the Sentinels from Herald of Purity, which is kind of the point of the skill. So while it is cool to convert half the monsters in the map and add them to your army, I'm simply not geared and I don't have the proper weapons to make this work in any way. To prove this, if that's even necessary, here is a tier 13 map, level 80 monsters, and as you can see it absolutely works, that is not in question. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm just saying that Absolution works a bit better. It synergizes better with what I've built so far, and I feel Dominating Blow deserves its own build in which you go the attack route rather than the spellcasting route. It would also be more of a Templar thing, I feel, with armor and energy shield, a bunch of leech and minion stats, and I think it could be a blast. I can see the potential of dominating blow. I'm thankful for all of the comments, but I ultimately went back to Absolution. After, and sometimes during all of these tests, I managed to get a few upgrades, which I don't want to hold from you in case I recorded it. I found a Tabula Rasa, but I don't think I should be using that anymore. I completely automated flasks, got a new kineticist. I enjoy these as they're easier to gear. I give her some better gloves as well. I use some Eldritch currency on my gear just to get some extra stats. I swap a bunch of support gems for 20% quality. I put Gem Cutter's prisms on my 2 main skills. They are now also 20% quality. Reach level 91. I get a Darkness Enthroned from the Abyss, but I don't have the means to equip it yet. I still have to fix a few stats and resistances. And that is really where I'm at currently. That is what the build is currently about. I cannot promise a third episode entirely just yet, because there are of course new games coming up and there's a lot that needs to be done over there as well. But with a bit of luck I'll keep playing and give you also a third episode. No promises though. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.